Hi, my name is Julia Gum. I am an herbalist, and today I would like to talk with you about herbs that can help cool you down when it's really fucking hot. And it is really, really, really fucking hot today, and I don't have an air conditioner running, and yeah, it's not good. So there are a couple of ways that herbs can cool you down. Some, like elderflower, or mint, or yarrow, work by dispersing internal heat out to the skin and then releasing it. So herbs that do this are called diaphoretics. Elderflower is a very well-known diaphoretic. Almost any herb used to break a fever is considered a diaphoretic, and elderflower is very commonly used for that reason. So elderflower typically blooms around the solstice, the summer solstice, which makes it a nice time to consume elderflower cordial and different beverages like that because it's very hot. So you can use diaphoretics. That's one class of herb you can use to try to cool down. Now, you may want to avoid diaphoretics if you, like me, have rosacea, because anytime you bring heat up to the surface, your rosacea is going to explode. So I do not use diaphoretics. I try to cool myself down in other ways. Now, one way you might cool down is with a good bitter. This is my favorite, blue vervain. Very bitter, very cooling. It has a effect of really kind of bringing the heat and energy from high up in your body down and just sort of and in that way it's a diuretic. Most bitter herbs are going to be diuretic. So if you're retaining excess fluid, which I tend to do when it's hot and humid, it can help with that too. Blue vervain is specifically used by many herbalists for heat and tension from the neck up. And that can be headache, that could be epilepsy, that could be like a twitch, if you have a twitch, or if you just feel like jaw tension or any kind of heat. I definitely feel heat from the neck up, so blue vervain is a favorite of mine. Another you might want to try is hawthorn. Hawthorn is a very nice, kind of sweet, cooling, soothing herb, and it's very good for the heart. So heat can be a stress on the heart, and hawthorn is what's considered a trophorestorative for the heart, meaning that it actually supports the structure of the organ. Excuse me. And it's absolutely full of anti-inflammatory flavonoids, which has the effect of bringing down inflammation in the body, which can contribute to a sense of heat. Another that you might like to try is sumac, not the kind that makes you itch, but this is staghorn sumac tincture that I made myself. You may know this plant. It's a tree that grows kind of on edges of things. It's kind of scraggly looking, and then like in the late summer it comes out with these red cones, and they're berries, but they're furry. And if you ever taste them, they're actually very, very tart, a little bit sweet, but very tart, and they're actually full of vitamin C. Now, vitamin C is cooling. Anything sour actually has a cooling effect. This is why we really like to drink lemonade in the summer. So one preparation that people use to make sumac is Sumacade, where they just cold infuse the berries in water overnight and then strain it because it's fuzzy, and drink it. The berries are not in season yet, so you might be able to find sumac tincture. It's kind of hard to get on the market, but I have it, and it's actually really good at helping you retain fluid. That can be another problem when it's hot, that, you know, you might be the kind of person that just sweats like crazy and you can't hold on to enough fluid, and sumac is a nice herb to help keep fluids where they need to be in the body, and can actually reduce excess urination if that's an issue of yours as well. Okay, so the last herb I'm going to talk about I have my own that I've made of this, but I got this off of Etsy. This is peach leaf elixir. They made a tincture of it in brandy and added honey, which is nice. So you don't want to take a whole lot of peach leaf because there is a little bit of cyanide in there, or the precursor to cyanide, I think, that your body turns into cyanide. So, like, this is why you're told not to eat apricot kernels or peach kernels. But there's a little bit of cyanide in almost everything in the Rosaceae family. So, seeds in a rose hip, apple seeds, almonds, there's a little bit in there. And I'm not 100% sure how or why peach leaf is so cooling, and if the cyanide is actually part of it, because cyanide kind of does its harm by slowing down metabolic activity. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it does. But peach leaf is just, it's very cooling. And if you are like me and you run very hot, I run extremely hot, I'm rarely ever cold, and if I am cold, it's because I got so hot that I sweat so much, and then the breeze blew in and now I'm cold. But peach leaf really just slows you down, and it's just the best. But, you know, I don't take a lot of it. I take 5-drop doses at a time and gauge how I'm feeling from there. Because you can't overdo it. And you can notice if you've overdone it. I've found by checking your tongue. So I have cherry Italian ice in my tongue right now, but tongue diagnosis is actually pretty key and can tell you a lot about your tissue state. And if you've overly cooled yourself with anything herbally, you're going to notice that the tongue is going to be kind of like, probably might have a thin white coating on it and just be pale and kind of flabby and like thicker, flappier than normal, and you might actually even start getting scalloping around the edges of the tongue. That's one way I gauge to make sure that I haven't overly cooled myself down. And so then I just want to touch on some herbs you might want to be avoiding if you're hot. So ginger, anything obviously warming, cayenne, you know, that's kind of, now they may make you sweat like a diaphoretic, and that might be good overall, but I don't know. I don't actually think so. I think it's pretty uncomfortable to eat hot, spicy things when I'm hot and spicy already. Kava, anything warming, valerian root. You know, if you normally take kava or valerian root to relax, now might be the time to reach for something more cooling like California poppy or lemon balm. These can have similar effects on the body, but without the whole warming sensation. I'm trying to think of other herbs that are just obviously not good when it's hot. I'm staring at my herb shelf right now. You know, the easiest way to tell the energetic property of an herb is just to take a couple drops under the tongue and immediately notice how you feel. And if you feel yourself warming up, then, you know, no, don't take it when it's hot. People like to get on regimens. They're like, oh, this is my herb, this is what I take, this is what I do, what herbs do you take? Do you take them every day? And I don't. I take different herbs depending on how I feel, the same way that you would eat something differently depending on how you feel. Like today for lunch I had Italian ice. Like, if it was January, I would not want Italian ice for lunch, but I wanted Italian ice for lunch today because it's like 95 degrees with a heat index of hell, and yeah. So you select your herbs the same way. So it's actually really important to get a good energetic sense and understanding of what your herbs are doing for you. And you can read it out of a textbook if you like. You can find videos like this. But really, I think that the best way, because you have to understand it's an interface, it's not just the herb itself. It's got to be how it reacts to you. So if you're a really hot person, like me, and you find, oh, this herb is cooling, and you take it and it's just kind of neutral, you don't notice a cooling effect, well, maybe the herb's not cooling enough for you. You know, like, it's all relative to the medium you're putting it into, and you are the medium. So really the best thing to do, I find, is to take 5 drops of a tincture under the tongue, maybe with a little water, and just see. Really pay attention. Really notice the feelings in your body. Notice if you feel yourself start to sweat. Notice if you feel yourself start to tense up. Notice if you feel flushing. Notice if you feel relaxation. Notice if you see